What is up, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie. The Flash is a comic that a lot of people are divided on. Either a lot of people love it, or people... Okay, I've never really met anyone who hates the book, but I know people who have dropped it because they felt like the story was, ironically enough, moving at too slow of a pace for them. And while I do agree that the book is kind of a slow burn, I read all the way through Brian Azzarello's run on Wonder Woman, which, let me tell you, that book took its time. But I feel like this book reads a lot like a full season of a TV show. It tells an overall story with subplots that drive each arc. Just read issues 1 through 40 to see what I'm talking about. But enough explaining. Let's just jump right into my thoughts on The Flash, issue number 42. So, coming off the back of the previous issue where Barry's dad escapes from prison with the aid of a couple of the, I was going to say Gotham City Rogues, but that makes no sense. The Central City Rogues. Barry shows up at Iron Heights and he's like, "Oh, my dad," and he's just flipping his shit. And, understandably so, because everyone's telling him that his dad helped these prisoners escape, and Barry's just denying it and he's making up all these excuses. And then even Iris shows up, because she's a reporter, and, the Flash villains have just escaped, yada, yada, yada. And, okay, usually I'm not the biggest fan of these types of, token moments, as I like to call them. And see, what a token moment is when a new run starts and the writer feels the need to just throw in all these characters from the Pantheon just to acknowledge their existence. But they reference Wally West. And seeing as how I'm just such a Wally West fanboy, I will just take whatever I can get at this point. And there's also a throwaway line that I find pretty interesting, and it's that the cops aren't all that fond of the Flash, because they see him as just a magnet for trouble. And they also explain what happened between Barry and Patty and why she's no longer in the book. For all those new readers who weren't reading The Flash before, and for the readers who were reading The Flash but got off the wagon because, they just weren't into it. And it's also reinforcement for those who already were reading and still are. So here's where the arc gets really interesting, though. Eobor Thawne is the main antagonist for the storyline, right? And apparently, he's been harassing the Allens for quite some time now, even to the point where Henry doesn't even want to say his name. But in this issue, he causes Henry to do something really bad, and that's just going to make Henry look like even worse of a criminal. And, okay, I don't want to spoil it because I really want you to just go out and buy the book, but wow, I can't wait to see where things go from here. There's also a bit where the Flash has to battle Girder and his grandma. And no, I'm not making this up. Only in a Flash book can that happen. And finally, there's this beautiful scene in the end where Barry's putting all the pieces together while he's trying to find out what exactly happened to his father and why his dad's helping the Rogues. And he's faced with this moral dilemma that really had me questioning who is right or wrong in the matter. And I was really questioning how Barry would handle that situation. And all I'll say is that he does it in a much more compassionate way than Batman would have. And that's it for the story. It's really good. And I love just how it's building off the previous stories that were being told in the New 52, while also being accessible to new readers. And just one thing. If you want to start reading The Flash, start reading now. Because if you don't, you're just gonna be screwed later on. Trust me, that's just how Flash books go. And please take my word for it. So yeah, as far as the art goes, it's weird. Okay, it stands out and it's unique, and it's really good, but it's just not for this book. I really feel like this book and Constantine the Hellblazer should just switch artists, because there are moments in this book where I'm like, John? Is that you? And I really don't think I should be confusing John Constantine with Barry Allen. Anyways, I feel like the character designs are really good. I love how Girder actually looks like Girder and not fucking Colossus. Cena B Flash. Also, the Flash costume redesign here is just magnificent. I honestly feel like this is the suit that Barry should have been given at the launch of the DC New Universe. It looks like it's heavily inspired by the CW Flash costume, but, looks good. I don't mean to badmouth the CW Flash. All I'm saying is that costume does not look good out of context, whereas this one looks pretty sick. Now onto the part where I tell you the stuff that stood out to me, whether it be good or bad. So starting off with the good, as I said earlier, there's a moment in this issue where Barry has to face this issue that's just so far steeped in a moral gray area. He was very torn, and that was really cool to me. And that was just a beautiful scene overall. There's also a part where Barry is fighting Girder and his grandma, and I thought that was hilarious, and it's stuff like that that keeps me interested in The Flash. Another good thing from this issue was Barry doing detective work, because I feel like a lot of people forget that Barry Allen is, still technically a detective, and that was really fun to see that stuff play out. As for the bad, I already said it. The art was kind of yeah, yeah. It just does not fit with this particular book, in my opinion. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Flash issue number 42. I thought this was a great read. The Flash has been consistently good in my opinion, and I'm glad to see that, it's still doing its thing. So yeah, guys, I am the Mystical Green Beanie. And as always, until next time, adios, nachos.